What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the show. I'm your host, Billy. I'm joined today by my producer, Trent Ludzack.
Hello.
We're in Trent's Unnamed studio in beautiful Marietta, Georgia. And today our special guest is the one and only Lee Satterfield.
Hello.
What up, Lee?
Hey.
Lee is the lead singer of the band Tree Fort and was the proprietor of the longest running all ages music venue in Georgia called Swayze's venue until you had a little health issue. And the main reason I wanted to talk to you today was I want to know the story of Swayze's. I want to know.
Okay. I thought we could talk about all kinds of things, but we'll talk about that. Just want to make sure anyone watching or listening knows that I'm.
Well, we can talk about anything you want. You want to talk about activism? You're an activist?
Well, I mean, I don't have to talk about it. I live it.
Yeah.
Obviously, I live it. Obviously, I'm an activist. I live it.
For those just listening, Lee has 2 Bud Light tall boys.
Yeah, and I'm going to drink them because I'm an activist, because I care.
Hey, Billy, can you hand me one of those Coors Lights?
Yeah.
There's Coors Lights here. I will drink them off camera.
Trent is not an ally. He drinks Coors.
Yeah, I just wanted to do the same thing.
Are they owned by the same people?
But, like, get real, right?
I don't drink beer.
Right. So, I know you don't anymore.
Anymore.
Yeah. He's all snooty about, like, I am sober.
No,
as he smokes weed and he's sanctimonious about it, right? Like all weed smokers, right? Yeah, there's no mental health crisis in the United States. You're just not smoking the right strain, man.
It's 420.
Yeah, it's 420, Hitler's birthday, right?
I don't think I'm mentally ill anymore. Maybe I am.
I'm mentally ill, I'll admit it. I'll be mentally ill the rest of my life, okay? But the reason I don't smoke pot is because I'm into bestiality.
So after you smoke weed, that makes you want to have sex with animals?
Like most people that smoke weed, like it calms them down. It pisses me off, and it makes me want to fuck a horse or get a horse to fuck me and punch my colon and kill me.
So you don't care if you're the one performing the sex act on the horse or if the horse is performing the sex act on you?
I've always been open-minded. I've always been extremely open-minded. Anyone that says otherwise has never seen me get my colon.
I believe
my colon punctured.
I do think you're open-minded.
Yeah. Most people aren't.
Are not?
They're not.
Yeah. Some people just can't understand why a man would want to have sex with a horse.
Or why would someone entertain the idea of even joking about it?
So you're saying if someone wants to have a sex with a horse, that they would be mentally ill?
This day and age, we're going down the slippery slope where you're so incorrect. How dare you judge them? And by the way, my specific pronouns are Zordon. The thing that was on the screen at Power Rangers.
I'm not following them because I thought it went mental illness. Someone who's mentally ill smokes weed, and then that makes them want to perform sex acts with a horse.
I don't give a shit. As long as you refer to me as Zordon, we're cool.
Okay.
You know who Zordon is, right?
That's the Scientology.
No, that's
right?
that's Xenu.
Oh, okay.
Zordon was the person on Power Rangers, like Power Rangers, here's your thing.
That guy was a pedophile, huh?
I mean, way too misgender me, Billy. Okay, because that's my pronoun, Zordon.
What does that mean? Can you define?
Does it mean that you're an alien outside of sex and gender?
I always felt that Zordon, I identify with Zordon, by the way, was just androgynous.
Yeah. Okay.
He was the original they them.
That's how. That's how some people believe the future human
on my way here.
Race will be
on the way here, I was very mad because I saw a men working zone, and I was like, "When the fuck you guys gonna change this shit? When is it gonna be a they them working zone, assholes?" And then there was a woman turning the sign, and so it's very confusing.
Okay.
I mean, I didn't mean to assume. I didn't mean to assume her gender. But if you're offended by this, don't care. Look, I care.
So gendered language is a problem for you?
Nothing's a problem with me. I don't care about anything.
Oh, okay. You did that. Okay. No causes.
Causes?
Do you support any causes?
Any causes?
Yeah, like
I support.
I don't know, like
for instance, like
find Coney. or something.
yeah. We never supported Coney enough, but
Coney
yes,
2012.
2012. What about Coney 23?
Right. It's been over 10 years.
Over 10 years. Yeah.
Did we find him or not?
It's a good point. I would say that as far as causes go, like I support war.
Oh,
But fuck the troops.
that's a controversial take.
I mean, yeah.
Trent was in the army.
No, I get it.
Oh no, I think at first I thought you said Trump was in the army.
Yeah. He was.
His supporters believe he was in the army.
He was commander in chief. He was in the military.
But the funniest thing you'd ever say at a show or a comedy event would be like, yeah, you know what, guys, I support war, but I don't support the troops.
Is that true that now you can say Trump served in the military because he was commander in chief of the armed forces?
You just mind fucked everyone.
Trump's a veteran.
I'm gonna say yes.
Did he go to college? Yeah.
He went to college.
He could be. He's an
According to him, he did better in college than Obama. I'm still waiting on the transcripts.
Okay, do you think that the
Billy, he made it to college.
I'm waiting with bated breath for Obama's transcripts.
do you think the truther conspiracy would have hit different with AI, where they could have just said Obama AI generated his
yeah
version?
Yeah, ChatDB is like, whatever it's called, ChatDB, chat toilet paper. It's kicking ass, and what's funny is it's basically lying to us, and we're accepting those lies.
Yeah. You could definitely get in trouble, like thinking it's a guidance counselor or some kind of god that's gonna tell you how to live your life, and like, because it's definitely just people behind closed doors.
Speaking of, I mean, like, Jesus was a guidance counselor. That's what he got his master's in.
Yeah.
And people are like, oh, Jesus never really exists.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, call the college. He got a master's.
So back in the day, they would just kill the guy just for being the guidance counselor.
That makes sense. Jesus got the master's in guidance counseling. They hung him on the cross.
You think the AI could become like Jesus?
It
could become like a religion that we worship.
It already is a religion.
Yeah.
People worship anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, for me personally, I mean, my Messiah died in 1993.
Who's that?
David Koresh. I watched the Waco, the Aftermath documentary.
Rock and roll Jesus.
Yeah, I mean, like, dude.
Did he say he was the Messiah? Or
I don't care. He gets me off. I come to him.
Yes, he did.
What about the Heaven's Gate people?
I don't get my rocks off.
Why did they kill themselves though? Like,
New Age bullshit.
Well, it's kind of like David Koresh versus Kevin's Gate. It's kind of like a scene war, like music scene war or comedy scene war.
I'm not that knowledgeable about Waco. Like, those guys died in a standoff, right, with the ATF.
A stand up.
A standoff.
Oh yeah. It wasn't a stand up comedy performance. Sorry.
Hey man, they're attacking us every day.
It was a fire.
Yeah, there was a fire, but like people get like all into Waco and they're like, they were crazy people. They were touching girls and touching guys, touching these little kids, and that's the reason we went in there. They could have got David Koresh at any moment because every day he went on a jog all around the compound. They could have picked him up at any moment, right? And then when you look at like the sheer numbers of the thing, okay, and this is, of course I'm biased because I worship him as my Lord and Messiah. But if you look at the sheer numbers of the whole thing, like the government's all like, 4 people were killed. 82 of the other people were killed, including children.
A lot of kids.
Yeah.
Because it's a cult. They're pumping out kids, dog.
But what did they do that was really that bad? Were they really?
Well, I mean, what the government did?
So the government just killed them for having guns.
Well,
and stuff?
I mean, like
they were like Antifa.
First off, David Koresh had a lot of collector cars out there, and you know what the government did to piss him off? They got the tanks and they ran over his collector cars.
Why didn't they like this guy though?
He had a lot of nice Cars.
No, he had a lot of nice guns too.
I mean, think about it. Like, who do you hate the most? The guy that has the nice guns and the nice cars.
Okay.
He's always a douche.
Yeah.
Whether he's not or he is.
And he's got his rock and roll Jesus pussy cult.
I'm gonna have to educate myself on this.
Yeah.
Because I just kind of brushed it off for a long time. It's like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, once you educate yourself,
The
you're like,
government killed a couple people.
Yeah, the government killed a bunch of
They
people,
do it
but-
all the time.
It's not a couple. It's a bunch.
They
it
do
was
that
like,
all the time.
It was like 80 something.
Yeah, it was a
4
bunch
agents were killed.
in America.
80.
So
Yeah.
What can I do about it? Vote?
I don't
or
know.
something?
You
Protest the
Vote.
ATF.
Do you vote?
I am no longer voting
Why not?
because it doesn't fucking matter. It doesn't.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
It doesn't.
Well,
matter.
local.
I mean,
elections
I
matter,
do
right?
vote in local election, but like as far as the president goes, I mean, like look at our track record. My whole life. You know what I mean?
I got a joke about who do you think is going to be the next reality TV star to become president?
Flavor Flav.
Because look, it's going that way now. Whoever's the most famous just gets to be president. It could be Jake Paul or I really think like Jake Paul or something could become president or Mr. Beast.
It'd probably.
You know how many people would vote for Mr. Beast because they're stupid and autistic?
What about Mr. Hands?
Mr. Hands?
You ever heard of him?
Rest in peace.
He knows Mr. Hands. Have you ever seen the greatest documentary of all time called Zoo?
No.
You got to watch it. It'll change your life.
Is this another bestiality thing?
Not another. This is the cornerstone of bestiality.
It really is.
Trent, give Billy the rundown of Zoo real quick.
So I haven't even seen Zoo. I just know about Mr. Hands.
Ignorant asshole! You gotta watch it, man.
It's
Okay, it's an hour long.
I don't know. We should do a whole like.
Okay.
in
Oh
the-
yeah, Sex with a Horse. Okay, did you watch this recently or something?
Oh, I used to watch it all the time. but also like I would like go to like say Taco Mac. Hey, I go to Taco Mac, hanging out with people. Hey, why don't you come back to my house, drunk guy? You know, you get the drunk guy to come back to your house.
Yeah.
You don't like roofie him and kill him or fuck him.
Some people do.
Well, I mean, they would. But my kind of thing is, hey, I'm going to go to bed, but you need to watch this documentary down here in my living room. And I'd make people watch Zoo in my living room, and I'd go to sleep. And then I'd wake up the next day, and they'd be like,
that's rough.
That can't be true.
it's happened.
I've been to your house. You didn't have
I like you.
stairs. There were no stairs.
In my old house, there were. In my most recent house before...
Billy's just trying to not believe this story.
I can't believe you would make someone watch a bestiality.
I didn't make them watch it. I put it on. They stayed and watched the whole thing. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't make them watch a bestiality documentary.
Okay.
I just kind of, like, opened their eyes to it. I didn't, like, duct tape their eyes open.
When
I like that.
You just said I'm bored.
No. I
No.
like this thing because it reminded me of something. Like,
I wanted to use it.
this thing reminded me. You keep using it, but it reminded me.
No. You give it a whirl.
Since we're on TV, it reminded me of something. Since we're on TV, let me show you guys my Ray Romano impersonation.
Oh God. That was great.
Pretty spot on.
I'm gonna give you the clap that Ray Romano impersonations deserve.
Ray Romano, you know, he had a good run. He was a stand-up guy,
yeah.
I think.
Yeah, but then he went all TV.
We're not on TV. We're on
We're-
Spotify.
We're on Trent's grandma's basement TV, which is cool.
I get 1 cent every time an ad plays, but I'm not allowed to have ads yet because I don't have enough listeners.
How do we rectify that problem?
I want to start doing local ads, like just get everybody like Jim's Tree Service to do an ad, charge them like $50.
I could maybe help you with that, but you want to get big though. I think you need to have more of a bestiality driven podcast.
I'm not like. I've never indulged in the dark arts.
That's more of Trent's Unnamed podcast realm.
I want to come on Trent's podcast.
You're a Bigfoot guy. Have you ever encountered a Bigfoot or?
I have encountered the Bigfoot.
You have?
Back in the 90s. Little Caesars had a pizza called the Bigfoot.
Oh, okay. That sounds pretty good.
It was awesome. It was the size of this table.
I tried the Pizza Hut by my house and
Oh,
it sucked.
That's Mandela effect. I apologize. It was not Little Caesars. Pizza Hut had
Pizza
the
Hut.
Bigfoot.
Okay. And that was back when you could get like a salad at the salad buffet.
Heck
At
yeah,
the
dude.
Pizza Hut.
And you could get the Back to the Future glasses, Land Before Time puppets.
You used to own a comic book store.
I did.
What?
Same thing happened and everything. I almost died a few times and it collapsed.
Yeah, well, yeah, but you know, you've done a lot of things in your life, man. Comic book guy, Bigfoot guy, bestiality guy, punk rock frontman.
Well, you know, I think what's missing in punk rock these days is bestiality. You know, people go like, "Oh, Blink-182 is so lame." Yeah, you know why? Because like they're embracing normal sexuality.
I'm not a big Blink-182 fan by any means.
But I'm pretty sure they used to have a song about fucking a dog, didn't they?
They did. They did have a song about fucking a dog.
Back when they were awesome.
I'm gonna bring up like
I think he's got something
deep cuts
here.
Do you remember Anthony Founds?
Yeah.
Funniest guy that we'll never find again.
Yeah, yeah,
Right?
yeah. He's
So
off the
I'm in
grid.
Panama City Beach with Anthony Founds, right? We go off the outskirts of Panama City Beach to Ebro, to the dog track.
Okay.
There's these young guys, about his same age. They're like just working their summer job, right? They're escorting the greyhounds to the station where they, you know, go on the track and run the thing. Anthony's at the track going, "I bet you fuck that dog. I bet you suck that dog's dick." That dude.
I do
It
believe that
doesn't, it
story.
doesn't matter what any of us ever do in anything in like art or comedy. He's the guy.
He's the funniest person.
He's the funniest person I ever met.
He just didn't care.
Well, he didn't care. And then remember Bradley Wilson? He still exists. He's out in Cartersville, but like he ran the comic store when I wasn't there sometimes. Yeah. Like one time, Anthony just went off the deep end and like beat his ass and burned him with a cigarette outside of Swayze. I mean, that shit happened.
Oh my god!
Imagine that happening these days. It would be like a, you know,
So much funnier.
it wouldn't be funny today, but it'd be like, we got to shut you down. This is
I'm gonna
why.
have to censor all these names in the final draft of this.
No, you don't have to. You don't have to censor Anthony Founds.
But you know, I don't want to ruin his life.
His life is either ruined
I haven't seen the guy in 10 years.
or he's
but
the guy like pulling all the strings behind the scenes. He's a millionaire, billionaire.
maybe. You never know, man.
No one knows where he is. Do you remember Ryan Hicks? He's a good friend of mine. You don't have to censor his name.
Ryan.
He's like,
yeah,
man, ballhead. Like, I love Danzig.
Yeah,
That guy?
Yeah.
He hated Anthony for some reason.
Well, Anthony was kind of crazy.
But like that Ryan guy's like, yep. What's going on with Anthony these days? Has he died in the fire yet? Even to this day, like he'll say, like I'll say something random, and he'll be like, "That's totally Anthony."
So I want to know, like, how did you start running a music venue?
I started running the music venue because I'm getting this paper towel to blow my nose. I started running a music venue because, oh, that was nice. Because I was renting out lots of places to just help bands on the road. We would tour, we'd meet friends, and like you couldn't just go at least in that day and age, you couldn't go, "Hey, Masquerade, my friend's coming to town."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Well, how many tickets can they sell?
Yeah.
And that's the bullshit of it all. Still,
Most
it's
venues.
like
Comedy clubs are the same way.
That's the most venues. And like the Masquerade's the biggest piece of shit of all time. They still are. I'm gonna go.
Well,
see.
you know, it's Ticketmaster, Live Nation.
I'm gonna
stuff.
see Fear in July,
Yeah.
but you know, But besides that, I mean, I don't go to the Masquerade to see a show because, like, what shitty local bands could we prop up and make them sell tickets? You know?
Yeah.
And so that's that. But
There were plenty of times that I felt a little like embarrassed that I hadn't sold enough pre-sale tickets there.
and it still happens.
Yeah.
And it happens not even in the Masquerade, but there's like a place called Furnace 41 on the south side.
Okay.
And that guy like makes you like sell tickets all the time. And like in fact, the Queers played last week. They had like 1 million local bands open up, and they all had to sell tickets. And then like our buddy Damn It Mansion, his band didn't get to play because he didn't want to change the slot he had. Even though that guy's always been a big supporter of that guy. He's like, well, I gotta abide by my policies.
What policies?
Policies of like, you know, pay to play, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, you know, what's funny about that, too, is that guy has been really supportive about having comedians come down there and do his stuff for nothing. It doesn't make any sense. Like, so I can come down there, bring nobody, be a total piece of shit on stage, make fun of everything, okay?
Yeah.
That's cool. But then when my band wants to play, he's like, you know what? You got to sell tickets.
Yeah. Well, because I didn't get paid when I performed there, but I also didn't bring anybody, so I didn't feel like.
I mean, it's a net neutral thing.
Yeah. I just wanted to get on stage and be a piece of shit, and
I definitely did that. But you don't drink. I mean, I drank all his beer. You know? But I just don't like the pay to play.
So what was
thing.
your philosophy when?
My philosophy with everything and the way it always went was always like, people shouldn't have to pay to play. They should just be able to just, you know, show up and play.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Was there ever a time where like a band was on the road and they just needed a show filled and you were able to just throw them on something at Swayze?
All the time. It happened all the time. Small bands no one gave a shit about, and then big bands too. I mean, like, I fucking booked HR from Bad Brains like 1 million times.
Yeah.
He would just call you. Can we play there? Yes, of course you can. You're HR from Bad Brains. Just show up. I'll give you as much money as I can. You know?
How did you like promote shows before there was like social media and stuff like that?
The hard way. The way people should be doing it. Where you talk to actual people in reality. You make actually real flyers and you have to hand them out. And most people are going to be assholes about it. Like, I don't want that.
Yeah.
And that's the same thing as social media today is like you post something, people are like, that's stupid.
Yeah.
But the reality version is like you hand out a flyer and you're like, this is gay.
Yeah.
You know? But yeah, real flyers, real posters. You actually went around and did it, you know?
Yeah.
And you put posters up everywhere, anywhere. Like I remember back in the day in Little 5 Points, there was a place called like 9 Live Saloon. And my band was playing a show like at the Masquerade maybe. And so I put up a poster there, like in this big, obvious place to put a poster up. I didn't think of it as 9 Live Saloon's poster area. I just put a poster up. And the guy comes out and he's like, is this the Masquerade's poster place? This is 9 Live Saloon. Yeah, and then, you know, and we all know the story there.
Classic. And then you gave
9 Live Saloon didn't last.
You gave him a scathing review on Yelp.com.
That was before that happened.
Yeah.
I mean, there was no Yelp to give anyone a review on. So, I mean, you know, me having a solid place to put on shows just became out of it's a pain in the ass to put shows on.
Yeah.
Because, you know, it's like a lot of shows I did back in the day were for a band called Punchline, and nobody was like, why the fuck would I book Punchline? Who the hell's that? There's a club called Punchline. You know, well, that band got signed by Fueled by Ramen. They did just great.
There were a lot of times I would see a band at Swayze's and, you know, it'd be just a normal show, and then later that band would get signed by this record label.
There are tons of bands like that, you know, like, I mean, I could start naming them.
You think it still happens that way? The Right Record tour?
Not anymore because we had COVID, so everything got shut down, and there's not an infrastructure for DIY venues for major label artists to step on. And that's all it is. I mean, it became that way. I mean, you still got people like, I don't know, like locally, like, who cannot stand? Like Maggie Rose. Gross. Like, I mean, dude, you could have all the talent in the world, but Clay Aiken had talent. Ruben Studdard had talent.
Maggie Rose is cool.
All right, well, you're still trying to play the game. I'm not. Hey, Maggie Rose, if you're listening, and you probably will hear this because you care, fuck you, and fuck your music, and fuck your mainstream bullshit. Like, oh, cool, you're playing Sweetwater 420 Fest with a bunch of hippie bands. Great, you can sing well, but what have you contributed to art? Nothing. And what will you ever contribute to art? Nothing. Because you're not an artist.
Do you think that Like Mike contributed anything to art?
More than Maggie Rose. I'm not trying to pick on somebody. I'm not saying someone I've seen like on shows that like, is really good. Like musically, good job.
Okay.
But like artistically, go fuck yourself. Give it up. Be a librarian. Dig ditches.
Okay, but Alex Downton is in her band, and he used to be in Fighting Sides. They used to play Swayze's all the time.
They were a
Swayze's band.
And that guy's always been like a very political person.
I don't know.
He's always been a very political person. I mean, nice guy. But who else was nice?
Political as in trying to make his way to something lucrative?
Yeah. Yeah, that's not going to do it, dude. So nice guy, not smart. Also, as far as nice goes, dude, Jeffrey Dahmer was a really nice guy until they found the heads in the freezer. You know what I mean? Fuck niceness. Niceness doesn't matter. I'm a nice person. But, like, if it comes down to, like, if you play, like, generic garden variety, I don't know, ass-licking shit, I don't care.
Who else would you say?
That's the only thing that's come to mind, like locally, because everyone's gone underneath. Like, who's good locally?
Yeah. Is there any local bands left? I don't even know them.
Of the new genre, I don't know. Of the people trying to make it, and by the way, you can't make it. It's a pyramid scheme.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, John Legend made it. He didn't. You know what I mean? Like, here's $1 billion. Everyone still thinks you suck. You know what I mean?
Some people like John Legend.
They do. I
guess.
I'm more of a Ray Romano fan.
I like certain pop artists.
Like?
There's ones I like. I like Bruno Mars, maybe.
I hate Bruno Mars with a passion. I hope he dies in a fire. Like, he is, like, I mean, do I hate Bruno Mars as much as I hate Zach Brown? Nah, I hate Zach Brown a little more.
Zach Brown, I don't listen to a
But
lot
they
of
should
country.
both go on tour together because that's their fan base.
What about Lil Yachty?
He should open. He's he's on the side stage at Lakewood when Zach Brown and Bruno Mars have their package tour.
You guys played on the Warped Tour one time, right?
A few times, many times.
When was that?
I don't know. Shit, I'm old. In the early 2000s, before the mids came.
The what?
So like 23 or 24 around then.
Okay.
Both of those years. Sorry, I got off the subject, but I mean,
No, yeah, just Lakewood Warped Tour. What you ever see the Emotron these days?
Not much. Not at all.
I saw him in North Carolina one time, and he's still weird.
I would disagree with that. I would say he is the most not weird person ever.
He's a really cool guy, love the emo.
I would disagree with that too. While I have made up with Kyle, he is just not as weird as he wants his persona to be. He's never been weird. He lived with me for a while, and he realized how weird I really am.
Yeah.
And then he started to do his shtick.
Yeah. Okay.
And by the way, for the record, he will not want to hear this, but I came up with the name Emotron.
Really?
He stole that from me.
No.
He did.
You think a lot of bands were influenced by Tree Fort?
Hell no.
I think back in the day, people would do like different shtick on stage, and
it's shtick.
That was kind of something I don't know if you guys pioneered it
I didn't pioneer
with
shit.
like Gigi Allen but Gigi Allen was often like a little too far, and sometimes Tree Fort would go a little far.
I always equate Tree Fort to Gigi we were PG Allen.
Yeah.
Right. And there's nothing there. I mean, even like say Kyle Emetron, people that think that's like crazy, it's so PG rated. Maybe PG-13.
It's a little PG, but I think the first time I ever saw a Tree Fort, you were in like a Civil War uniform and you had a pitchfork, and
I would probably call that Mandela effect.
no, I remember.
Mandela effect, not Mandela, not Nelson Mandela effect. Sorry.
Josh was sticking douches in his ass.
Speaking of, I talk to Josh a lot. Now,
then I think that same night he tried to ride his motorcycle into the venue.
He's done that before. That's happened. I mean, like, there's a part of me that wants to self-destruct. I always got along with Josh because he wanted to self-destruct.
Yeah.
There was a time, and I'm not going to lie to you, but I would ride on the back of Josh's motorcycle, right? We would ride in the back, and we would act like really gay. So people would get mad at us, and then we'd fight them and beat their ass. That really happened many times. Many times.
That was honestly one of my first exposures to seeing like men kissing. Was at a Tree Fort show.
Yeah. Well,
So,
now it's past.
Very progressive, man. Yeah, now you have to have men kissing.
I mean, like, shit, we had a gay following. We played gay clubs. We played the Leather Bar. We played the Eagle Tavern, the original leather bar in San Francisco, right? And we had a sausage party. We had the grills fired up. We had a sausage party. So to me, that was back when people that were
that was funny.
That when people that were progressive actually had a sense of humor. Nowadays, people that are quote unquote progressive have no sense of humor.
Right.
And at the show at the Eagle Tavern, I'll never forget. Joe will kill me for saying this, but like this guy was like, "I'll give you $20 to give me a golden shower." We're on tour. We had no money. Joe fucking whipped his cock out and gave this dude a golden shower.
Oh my goodness!
In the Eagle Tavern,
dude,
the America's oldest gay club.
I'm not even joking. The first time I think I saw two grown men kissing was at a Tree Fort show, and it was funny because they would have two straight men kiss each other.
Well, you never know.
Yeah, you never really know. And I remember one of the funniest things I ever saw was like Anthony one time went up to Corey and was like, "Hey, did you feel something between us?"
I got a funny Anthony story. Do not censor.
But that was back in the day. It was taboo. So it blew my mind.
Even then, to me, like in that era, it was not taboo.
Yeah.
I remember like when I was in East LA.
Lee, can you stop moving that chair? It's moving Billy's camera.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Here, I'll move.
Yeah, you're like out of frame now.
Frame.
There we go.
Sorry, Trent.
All good, man. I just realized you didn't notice.
We're getting into it. Sorry.
Yeah, but back then, still, like Christian suburbia, two men kissing is something you don't see on stage every day in your hometown.
So, like, let's really diverge from that, right? Speaking of Christian suburbia.
Yeah.
So, like, I started doing shows basically a year after 9/11. Okay. So, what's hot a year after 9/11? Christian rock.
Right, yeah.
Why is it hot? Because America's looking for a voice.
Yeah.
America wants something to believe in.
Lift up the one, yeah.
I mean, yeah, there's that. But, like as far as the underground goes.
Metal and stuff.
I mean, and you think about it. We didn't have streaming and all this stuff like we did then. So there were bands like Norma Jean and stuff like that.
Yeah.
They got big because guess what? Their CDs were in Christian bookstores.
Yeah.
So like, hey mom, can I buy a CD? Sure, it's in the Christian bookstore.
Third Day.
That's how I got it at Norma Jean.
Remember Third Day?
So I mean, case in point. So that makes sense. I mean, so like all that stuff back then, I remember Third Day, and actually I will always remember Third Day because they lived across the street from my fucking parents. You know what I mean? I leave the driveway every day and I do this. Not that they'll ever see me, okay? The only thing worse than Third Day is Green Day. To me, Third Day is more punk rock than Green Day.
You don't like Green Day?
I did when I was 13 years old. Actually, before that.
That's when it was appropriate.
Their Lookout Records releases were good. Then Dookie came out and everyone loved it. And I was like, really? This is Green Day? This is not the Green Day I heard. And that record, to be honest, is a great record. It's a good record. It's solid.
Dookie? Yeah, that's the first
Dumb
one
fucking
I
name,
listened
but
to.
yeah, still. It's a good record. Lots of good songs from it. And they have a lot of good songs. They have a lot of good records.
What do you think was the best Tree Fort record?
That's tough. Probably like as far as a composition goes, By This Album the Terrace Wind would be the best as far as a composition goes.
Okay.
It's kind of the zeitgeist of that year,
Yeah.
and also just musically there.
Yeah.
We had a full orchestra play, and I conducted a full orchestra.
a full orchestra
Mhm.
with like timpanis and whatnot.
Well, I don't know about Tiffany's. We had like we had a string quartet and like a full on horn section.
Bassoons.
It wasn't like the problem with Tree Fort was always like when we made those earlier records, we had horns.
Yeah.
So people lumped us into ska. We never really had any upbeats, and we never did like the ska trappings. We were not a ska band. The people that were dumb lumped us into ska, and that's great because that made us popular. Okay, but the ska purists all hated our guts because we weren't ska, and I admit it, we weren't ska. Okay, but By This Album, The Terrace Wind was more of like a musical effort. Like it wasn't like we're having horns because we're a ska band. We're also having strings, and we had this whole like thing.
Is that one on Spotify or something?
It's on Spotify. You can totally listen to it and give me no money.
Yeah. How do you how you feel about like ASCAP and
Well, you know how I feel about that.
Spotify and
Well, ASCAP and Spotify are two different things. But like BMI and ASCAP, that's
YouTube.
Capitalism is capitalism. People are always going to screw people over. It's the lowest common denominator every day. That's the way it goes.
Did you ever have run-ins with the ASCAP people?
You know that. Yeah. I'm notorious with having run-ins with ASCAP people. And I had run-ins with ASCAP people before Swayze's ever happened. I would run interference on ASCAP people at two different clubs I worked at in Atlanta when I was a teenager. So, I mean, it's just like, get the fuck out of here.
So were you? How long? When did you get into the music scene?
I got in the music scene like midway through high school. I mean, before that, I was into music, so I wouldn't say midway through high school. As far as when I started playing was midway through high school. But earlier in high school, I was into punk rock, and I would go downtown to a place called the Rec Room. And sorry, Trent, I wasn't talking to my mic. But I go to this place called the Rec Room, and it was downtown, and it was a small little place. And you weren't supposed to go in there unless you were like 21 and up. But the dude stuck me in.
Nice.
And that dude was my mentor. His name
Yeah.
it's a weird name, Toe.
Toe?
Jeff Osler, but Toe is what he goes by. And Toe was like my mentor through all this.
Okay.
And
So he taught you how to book a show, promote a show.
he didn't teach me any of that. He kind of taught me like what's right and what's wrong.
Yeah.
And that stuck with me. And like that's the way I try to treat kids, I guess. At Swayze's was like, this is appropriate. This isn't, and like I'm a bad person to teach you. I'm a drunk.
Yeah.
I don't care. I'm a debaucherous person. I'm gonna go crazy. But like there's certain things that you should do in life, and these are them.
Okay.
Like this is the way you should behave. This is the way you should treat people. If you're serious about your band doing something, like this is what you should do.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't like I wasn't being condescending about it.
No, yeah.
But I was just trying to help people out. And I think in the end it helped people out.
I think having a venue that would cultivate an artist rather than like just say, well, how many tickets did you sell? You guys didn't sell any tickets. You guys suck. Like
Totally agree with that.
That created like a wealth of really good bands and like cool artists that went on to do like big things.
Some did. And I wouldn't say they're all cool, but I would say at least you did what you wanted to
And whether you thought they were cool or not, you would always give them the space to perform and create.
I agree with that. But also, like, I would say this, and this is kind of a joke against me, which is like, if I like somebody, no one would come see them.
Yeah.
If I hated somebody, they were popular.
Yeah.
And that says something. I mean, I did good. We did it for 16 years. I did 4 years other than that of just doing shows at random places. So that's good enough. I mean, that's a lifetime for some people.
Yeah.
You know?
This camera's getting out of control, buddy.
Oh, me with that chair?
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I don't
We actually need to readjust the camera.
What? I'm still in the shot.
Yeah, but now I'm in it too.
That's true.
Is it this one or
Yeah, it's that one right there.
Give
Just
it a
turn
little
it towards
twist.
Billy a little bit.
scared?
Give it a little twist.
There we go.
Perfect.
Hey,
It's
Perfect.
we're
I
back.
think it's the rhythm of the ground.
Yeah, we're getting animated.
No,
in
it's
here.
I think that the leg of the chair was on the leg of the tripod, so you were bumping the tripod with the chair leg.
We're getting rowdy in here.
We're getting wild.
Getting crazy.
That's what happens in Trent's Unnamed studio. We get
Yeah.
crazy
I like Trent's studio.
and shit happens.
It's a very nice place.
Thank you.
And so Trent is doing what I would have done years ago, which is he's nurturing future artists.
Yeah, yeah, and that's like that's something you don't really see a lot. And me, I like I try not to forget when someone does something nice for you. A lot of people in this business, they forget when somebody did something for you, and they act like they did everything themselves. But you know, if it wasn't for Swayze's, we would have never had a place to play and go wild. And I remember the first time we played a show like Mike, Anthony Founds came out from the back on roller skates.
Again, Anthony.
And he had like a pentagram painted on his chest, and he was smoking a cigarette, which he wasn't allowed to do. He like shot off confetti cannons.
To me, Anthony would always come out like in a Confederate flag cape on a. I found this old oxygen canister. It didn't work anymore.
Yeah.
When he put it up his nose, he'd walk around like he's a cripple with his Confederate flag cape and an oxygen
The
canister.
oxygen thing. That was a funny bit.
Oh, dude. Legend. You know. Dude, Anthony was the man.
So many great memories. And there were tons of bands that came through there. You know, I remember just some of the bands we played with was like Cartel and Neck Deep and Knuckle Puck. Not bands I was
They were
big
all,
fans of, but you know.
They were all big like pop punk bands.
Yeah.
And it worked. It was cool. I mean, like, what?
Well, that's who we would like.
But like we did
open
the
for or
10-year
whatever.
anniversary with Cartel because like when we first started, Cartel was kind of coming up, or not even them. It was like the bands that they were in.
Yeah.
And they were cool about it. I think it was a full circle moment for them as well.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Like I used to go see like Freshman 15 play.
And
At
he's
Swayze.
doing something now. He's trying to get it back going, which is cool.
Yeah, he said they're recording an album or something, but you know, whatever.
I mean, it's cool.
That was like a lifetime ago, really.
Yeah, they were always cool. I mean, there was a lot of bands that were just like, they were cool. And for the most part, I mean, I don't have anybody that I just want to talk crap about
Nobody.
except like current stuff. It's lame. I mean, like,
Well, and look at the funeral portrait.
what's happening with them?
They had a song on Monday Night Football, I think.
Really?
Yeah.
I know they had something like on wrestling at one point. Now they're on Monday Night Football.
Yeah, they did have a wrestling thing,
So my only
like
thought,
a walkout song or
my
something.
only thought about that is like, look how like low Monday Night Football has come. I mean, they used to have like Hank Williams. Now they got Lee Jennings.
They're trying to mix it up, man. They're trying to.
Well, you
some
know,
new people
I'm
out
all
there.
about people mixing it up. Bud Light.
How come all these bands got really popular amongst like the teens and the young adults, but they never played them on the radio or anything like that?
Well, there's no radio.
Yeah.
You should know that one first off.
Yeah.
There's no radio anymore.
old people still listen to it.
They do, but I would honestly say like, and this is no slight at like say like Jennings and like the Funeral Portrait. They're doing good, and they're doing the best they can within what they have. But like they're getting big on things that old people listen to, which is like, this is Jericho. It's like Chris Jericho's radio station.
Yeah.
Like kids don't listen to that.
Right.
My middle school students in the bus don't listen to Chris Jericho's radio station. They don't listen to any radio station. All they do is do this. All day.
Right.
The
phone.
It's the phone.
You think like that's just how music's gonna go now? It's just to like 60-second clips.
No, because if that were the case, I would be a megastar because I like to write 60-second songs.
Well, you got to put them on TikTok or something. Get them in the
Actually,
back.
what's funny is like people have showed me that Treefort's on TikTok, and I'm like, I don't understand. That's it. Like someone has to show me on their app. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm not going to download TikTok. You know what I mean?
Spotify or whatever.
Spotify.
Probably.
We have stuff on Spotify, but I'm just saying like, I will never be on TikTok because I support America. And not Chinese buying on us at Applebee's, dancing in front of it.
The Chinese already own everything, don't they? Know? Don't they own Bud Light, and that's why they're putting.
That's it. That's a European company, okay? And I think you're being very anti-trans by what you're saying.
I said that they put a woman on the can.
Oh, you did. Okay, cool. I take back what I said. But I still
But men are the ones who drink beer, right? For the most part.
Yeah, you're right. But like, I take back what I said, but I still am judging you because you did not say a brave woman. Yeah.
Yeah, social media.
I've been trying. Like,
she could be president one day.
And what's crazy is I've been trying to find a can. It's nowhere to be seen. Did Kid Rock shoot up all the cans I'm looking to find? I mean, what the hell?
So maybe they haven't rolled the can out yet. Maybe they're.
I don't know. It seems like a collector's item to me.
I would hold. I still got some Sierra Mist if you need some.
Yeah, I tried Starry too. Still a piece of shit. They all suck. I've opened up a Equate version of a Summer's Eve and chugged it, and it tasted better than Starry. That shit sucks. Hey, how can we make the worst beverage ever Sierra Mist be any worse? I got an idea. All right.
Well, I remember like everybody used to say Domino's pizza sucked. Then they just put like garlic butter on the crust, and now everybody says it's the best.
Well, I would disagree with that. Like, in fact, if I order Domino's, I have to be in a pinch, first of all.
Right.
But if I order Domino's, could you guys not put the garlic shit on the crust?
Yeah.
Thank you. I want to throw my...
I don't work there.
I mean...
I think they...
Nobody works there anymore. Nobody works anywhere. I mean, good luck getting a Domino's pizza delivered. I mean, now they're like, they have that commercial where it's like, order a Domino's to take out and get your own self a tip. We'll tip you $3 for a pizza you pick up.
Did they pay you to pick up the pizza or something?
They don't. You have to pay for the pizza, but like it's getting to where you're right. Like maybe you'll eventually get paid to pick the pizza up.
That's communism right there.
Yeah. I don't know, man. One day, I'm gonna get fucked by a horse, and my colon's gonna get punctured.
Did you see as much like Maoists?
Do you mean perforated?
Perforated.
Did you see a lot of?
And someone's gonna send me a bill.
A lot more like Marxism in the music scene as there is today, like 10 years ago.
It's always been the same. There's always been like people that are like socialist or communist. I want to call them commies, but then they'll get mad. Like I care. They've always been there, right?
Yeah.
And they've always been stupid. Now there's so much information to where you can just like prove how stupid they are. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But
I'm not saying like
how come
gung ho capitalism, because we don't live in a capitalistic world.
But honestly, the music industry kind of is a capitalistic world, right? The only way to get by is to like sell CDs and T-shirts and.
Well, you said something that makes a lot of sense to me, which is sell T-shirts.
Yeah.
Okay? Bands that talk about getting screwed over, da-da-da-da-da. You can't download a T-shirt. Even at this point, you cannot 3D print a T-shirt.
Right.
And you could 3D print a gun, but you can't 3D print a T-shirt.
Yeah.
So, like, the goal of, if you're in the music industry, or maybe even if you're a comic, should be get out of that industry and get into the T-shirt industry. You know, I mean, and you see online, like, oh, it's a funny T-shirt. You click on the button, it's like 25 fucking bucks. You know what I mean?
I don't think of good T-shirt ideas.
If you could think of good jokes, you can think of good T-shirt ideas.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to put down your jokes.
No. Maybe I'll put like a guy having sex with a horse on
I'm
a
still
T-shirt.
moving this chair, Trent. Sorry.
And then
Yeah, but you moved it away from the stand, so
Oh, cool.
it
I
wasn't
can
bumping it.
fondle the chair now.
Just as long as it's not bumping the camera, we're good.
we could do a shirt for the podcast. It could be Lee having sex with a horse. And then he dies from
a perforated asshole.
peritonitis.
That was Mr. Hands. Look it up.
Yeah.
I mean, if people were to actually watch this, I doubt they will.
Corey will watch it.
They'll come away with
Shout out to Corey.
they'll come out with a few things. One is
Holy shit.
who is this Anthony Founds guy? How do we find him? Okay. Secondly,
He sounds awesome.
you know, Lee Jennings' band sucks, but not as bad as Maggie Rose. And it's gonna be like, where do I find the documentary Zoo? And how soon can I watch it? And afterwards, how can I get fucked in the ass by a horse? And after a curious experiment with horse fucking me in the ass and having a good time with it, how do I die from getting my colon punctured?
What is this?
No, I just found out that Mr. Hands was a engineer who worked for Boeing.
Okay, smart guy. what
Smart
did he
guy
know?
didn't engineer the asshole and the horse very good.
What did he know?
He knew that he got pleasure from that. I mean, he went out doing what he wanted.
You remember the blood on the dance floor?
It was based on Mr. Hands, I heard.
That was like more like blood on the barn floor.
I think that's what they were into.
Yeah. Yeah. That was funny though. Thinking about blood on the dance floor though. Everyone was all up our ass about having them booked. They're sexual predators. And the person that was getting all mad was the person from the Masquerade. And the Masquerade had booked the same band. It's that was before all this stuff came out. No, it wasn't. Here's the actual newspaper, the actual links to the documents that said that happened, and then they just deleted their comments.
Isn't it kind of hard to book bands that don't have any sexual predators in them?
I know. It's dude, how did the Eagles have so many reunion tours? Really? It's dumb. I mean, rock and roll has always been about
Getting drunk and becoming a sexual predator.
yeah. That sucks, but that's the way it is.
Yeah, it's kind of the way it's been historically.
And so what you get now is well, I'm against that. So I'm going to spend $800 on a Taylor Swift concert and watch her sing karaoke. I would rather someone get abused.
Jesus.
I mean, for real. I mean, for my entertainment dollar, people have to get abused for my entertainment dollar, right?
Okay.
Yeah. It's like.
What about the kids, man?
What about the kids?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we're not talking about Michael Jackson, are we?
Well, they were essentially the same thing, right?
And so if we want to go that way, why don't we take the same kind of magnifying glass and put it over Michael Jackson, who totally raped kids?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure he did.
Kids, not some sexually active nympho that was drunk and high in Don Henley's hotel room in the 70s. Not that I'm giving him a free pass.
Cosby is on tour, I think. No, he's out of jail.
He can't see though.
I think he is trying to go on the road. I've heard that.
I would say he's my favorite blind comedian.
Cosby, that's controversial, man. You said some controversial things today.
Well, shouldn't like any kind of like art or free speech be controversial? And shouldn't comedy be controversial?
Not always.
Doesn't have to be. I mean, like Mark Lowry is my favorite Christian comedian in the '90s.
We got Keegan's.
He never said anything controversial.
My bad.
Who? Matt Lauer?
No, not Matt Lauer. Matt Lauer did some very controversial things.
No, he lied about being shot at in a helicopter.
I was talking about my favorite Christian comedian, Mark Lowry.
Oh.
Look him up. He did like parodies of the Brady Bunch.
Oh,
I've heard of that.
It was real edgy shit.
Cosby's doing a reunion tour.
Yeah, and apparently has a new sexual assault lawsuit.
Oh, he's got material about that or something?
I hope so. If he doesn't talk about that on stage.
Will OJ be opening up or something?
That would be crazy.
That would be bad.
What if they just leaned in?
Now, dude, this is totally off subject today. I was going through my parents' attic. I was getting some things ready for the flea market this weekend. I found my Pogs from the 90s.
Okay.
And I found 2 slammers. Okay? That's what you use to... Young kids, if you're listening. The slammers is what you use to make the Pogs disperse. Anyways, on the Pog slammers, I had a sticker on top. It was O.J. Simpson with a Bart Simpson haircut.
Okay.
I don't have just one of these. I have 2. That is the most 90s thing ever.
How much are those going for on eBay?
I don't know. I'm going to sell them for this weekend for $1. If someone doesn't want to give me $1, I'm like, how about 2?
O.J. Simpson, Bart Simpson, Pog.
But it's a sticker on top of a slammer.
It's a custom sticker.
I mean, I bought it at Town Center Mall in like '93.
Okay, some guy at a kiosk made that himself.
It was a kiosk. They had, at one time, believe it or not, kids, Town Center Mall had a Pog kiosk.
I'm not really. Pogs might have been before my time. You know, I was a big Crazy Bones kind of guy.
What were the big things from your childhood? Like your nostalgia?
Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yu-Gi-Oh. Goosebumps or no?
Pokemon, definitely Goosebumps.
Kids are still playing Pokemon.
Pokemon was a big one.
So, like on my bus, when I drive a bus, the kids leave Pokemon cards. Thanks, kids. That's my retirement plan.
Yeah, you're driving a school bus now?
Yeah.
Is that safe?
With me driving, yes. Not right now, no.
But don't the kids get a little crazy on there?
They get pretty crazy.
What? How do you wrangle them?
How do you wrangle them?
Yeah.
You talk to them like they're human beings.
Okay.
And not like they're little twerps.
Okay. So you're nice.
Lie.
Yeah.
Basically, if you want to do anything successful in life, whether you're going to be a government worker like I am, or a successful businessman where you con everyone, it's all about lying. The minute you realize that everything's a lie, you can go to bed at night. I mean, it's going to take you a few drinks and some tramadol and some Ambien, but yeah.
Yeah. Man, I was sick all week and they didn't give me nothing. I went to the doctor. They said they didn't know what was wrong. My throat was all something fierce. My sinuses, some kind of infection or something, sinus infection or virus or something. They didn't give me any tramadols or Ambiens or nothing.
Oh, trazodone, not tramadol.
They didn't give me any trazodone either. I don't even know what that is.
Do you have an animal?
What?
You have an animal. You have a
cat?
dog. Your cat is hurting. Go to the vet, get tramadol for your cat. It works. That's what people do. Tramadol's the shit.
I was like, I heard that doctors are just giving out opiates. Like,
Yeah, that's what you've been hearing for years.
Yeah, they cut back on that, though, because, problems.
Where's mine?
Yeah, that's a whole nother
Got in too late, dog.
That's another whole can of worms, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like...
So when I was really sick, when I was really hurting, when I had like a fucking open wound, they were like, "Are you sure you need this pain medicine?" They'd have like these counselors at the hospital came by. They were like pain management specialists, right?
Hell yeah.
No, I don't need these pills. Put it back in my IV and shoot me up. You know what I mean? Like, it fucking hurt. And they act like you're a drug addict. And this is back then. And now we have media in the United States. Actually, there's an opioid crisis, which means they take all the people that are overdosing on like actual real pills, then they combine it with all this fentanyl coming over the border. They combine it all, and that's the stats they come up with. It's totally bogus.
Yeah.
So I don't know what their end game is with that, but like, you know, I remember being in the hospital like for months, and like that's when that hurricane hit Puerto Rico, and they didn't have Dilaudid that day because for whatever reason we manufacture all our good drugs in Puerto Rico. That's a dumb idea because you know what? Hurricanes can happen.
Yeah.
Hurricane can hit Puerto Rico, and now we have no drugs.
Yeah, let me get some of them hurricane drugs.
So like one day I get Dilaudid. Next day you get morphine. The next day you get fentanyl. And let me tell you how fentanyl works. In the hospital, real fentanyl, they come in and it's a serious ordeal. There's 2 nurses in the room, okay? They take your blood pressure while you do it, okay? And they make sure you're okay. There's not a real fentanyl crisis like for people that need it, like people that are dying of cancer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the media portrays it like fentanyl is the worst thing that ever happened. Fentanyl's great. It helps people with cancer.
Maybe
it's a miracle for
maybe
surgery.
We don't need that one though.
Are you one of those guys?
That
like,
one's a little too strong.
It's not that strong though.
No, it's really, really strong. But like, so for surgery, it makes surgery like possible in a lot of ways. A lot of the crazy surgeries because it turns off your brain's ability to feel pain.
All the gender surgeries, right?
Yeah, you can't do any gender reassignment without, you know, something that can literally stop your brain from being capable of feeling pain.
Mm-hmm.
So like a lot of surgeries are made possible with fentanyl.
I agree.
Hell yeah.
So
But it's like you can't just have anybody, you know, throw it in. You know, you gotta use it right. It's very dangerous.
But that's not the way it happens in the hospital setting. They throw it in right. But what the way the media portrays it is like fentanyl in the hospital setting is the same thing as like this meth fentanyl that someone's making in Colombia and scooting through Mexico and over the border into your
There's
pot
a
in your
doctorate
coat.
for how to give people enough fentanyl.
It's called an anesthesiologist.
It's a doctorate for how much fentanyl to give somebody, basically.
I think we hit all the points.
And they have fentanyl. they have fentanyl patches too that people get too. You can't overdose on a fentanyl
I heard
patch.
they used to do suckers.
You could get them at Spencer's Gifts. There was a little
shaped like a penis.
There was a little tequila worm in them. It's the tequila fentanyl sucker.
I was gonna say a poppy flower inside the middle.
Yeah, like a scorpion.
This guy, he's got it.
All right, let's get out of here.
That's it.
It's an hour.
I feel like we didn't accomplish anything. We have to come back to
No, we
this.
definitely didn't.
All right.
Nothing ever gets accomplished in this room.
Peace.